Hello, this is Annie Owens again with My Dimensional Life. We're going to talk about my first near-death experience. Please do like and subscribe so I can get more videos out to you. Please share, help me out with the algorithm. This is important to me to be able to share this because there's a lot of changes taking place. Everybody's noticing that. We're losing a lot of loved ones. And unfortunately, I was shown that more are probably going to be taking place. And as I say, probably because I don't believe the future is set in stone. I believe dependent upon the little actions taken is what future is going to happen. I don't believe anybody can say this exactly is going to happen because we have a lot of different paths in this life that we can take. So I put it out there, but my goal is to be able to help people to where if they are experiencing fear, their fear of death, their fear of the afterlife, fear of what happens when we're no longer here, I'm hoping that this is going to be able to help you out with that. My first near-death experience actually happened here in Utah. My husband and I were going for a horseback ride with I don't want to use their name, but it was a horse club that we belonged to, and we went down to Moab. We didn't have kids yet, and we had horses, and so obviously, but we went down to Moab to this big gathering to get together to ride. And on the way down, my husband got sick. He was sick. He had done construction at the time, and he's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. By tomorrow, I'll be fine. Everybody that I work with has already gotten this. It's literally less than 24 hours. You get sick, you're fine the next day. I'll be fine. I'll go on the ride. We'll be fine." So on the way down there, as I said, he got sick and he said, "Yes, we'll be fine." So we went down to Moab and we had a really good time. We went horseback riding for 2 days. And then they were having a big Dutch oven thing get together that night. And let's go back to when we were riding, we had a rider in our group and he was an older guy and he did not understand. I wouldn't say understand. It was more of he was very much older in his personality along with his age, and joking was not something that I believe was really so much in his family. So he didn't understand jokes. So if you try to joke around with him, he took it as more of like a personal attack, which it wasn't supposed to be a personal attack. My husband and I were joking around because he kept looking at us like we were just two dumb young kids. We were a lot younger and we're horseback riding and you know picking stuff off the trees and throwing it at each other anyways. So he got really upset with us that last night, and he thought that we were trying to attack him, even though we weren't trying to attack him, and nor did we say anything negative about him. But that's how he took it. But the night we had the Dutch oven, it was great. Everything was laid out. It was like the best Dutch oven ever. It was for this whole group. We went through, we got it. It was really good, but it felt really rich. It was probably richer than I'm used to, because there were so many different types of food. And Dutch oven is great, but it's a little rich for me. And so that night, we're laying and we're sleeping in our horse trailer, and because we had a bed in it. But anyways, we're sleeping on the bed, and I turned to my husband. I had a hard time just like sitting still. It's just not feeling very good. And I said, "I don't know. I think that Dutch oven that I had was really getting to me." So I got out of bed. I went outside. I ended up getting rid of the contents of my stomach. And I came back and I laid down, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So as I'm laying there, I hear, "Get up and go home." And I'm like, what the heck is that? You know what I mean? I'm just like, what is going on with that? And so anyways, then as I said, I heard, "Get up and go home." And I'm kind of moving around, and my husband's like, "What's going on?" And he goes, I told him, I said, "Somebody's telling me get up and go home, but I don't understand that." He's all, "Well, let's just go. Our horses were brought down by another person. We can just leave." I'm like, no, no, no. There's no reason why we need to go home. We didn't have kids or anything. And so anyways, as I'm laying there, I hear again, this time a little bit louder, "Get up and go home." And now I'm really kind of moving around a lot and starting to get sick again. And anyways, my husband's like, "What's going on?" I said, I'll be right back." So I went, got rid of more contents in my stomach, and I come back, and he's all, "Well, what's going on?" I said, "I keep being told get up and go home." And he goes, "Well, come on, we can go." And my husband was very easygoing about it. "Come on, we can go. Let's just go home." And I'm like, no, I was being very stubborn. And I have learned since, don't ever do that. When you're being told to do something, don't ever do that. And so I'm laying there and I'm like, no, there's no reason for it. I'm just about ready to fall asleep. And I hear, get up and go home. It was so loud. I sat up and I was literally just shaking because it was so loud telling me to get up and go home. And I was like, there is no reason why we need to go home, even though I was being told. I didn't know what the reason was, but I was being told, get up and go home now. So I was like shaking. My husband at this point is grabbing me, almost trying to pull me out of the trailer. Come on, let's just go. Let's just go. No, I was being stubborn. There is no reason why we need to go. Well, by the next morning, I was so sick that I literally could not even keep down water. It was just, I couldn't keep anything down. Anything that I had taken down was gone. I was so sick. And so we're getting the horses ready to travel because we're leaving back that day. And I'm brushing out the horses. We're getting them ready to travel. Anyways, the older man that was there that was basically saying that we were being rude to him. I was always taught when somebody is having a difficult time, maybe you didn't do something on purpose, but it hurt their feelings, to go the extra mile to try to help them. So that morning, I was sick. I couldn't even keep down water, but I went and I started brushing his horse out. And as I'm brushing his horse out, he seemed to calm him down some because I'm trying to go out of my way to be kind instead of him thinking that we were being mean to him, which we weren't. And so, anyways, I brushed him out and we get going. We're on the road. And I told my husband, I said, if I tell you to pull over, it's because I'm going to get sick. And he's like, okay, okay. So we're driving on the way from Moab and we're headed west. And Green River was a way off. And Green River at the time, Green River, Utah, it was not a very big place. But we're on the road, and all of a sudden I said, hey, pull over, I'm going to get sick. So we pull over. I open up the car door, and I lean forward, and that's the last thing that I remember. And for my husband, he said what happened was my body came backwards. It was stiff, and the eyes had rolled in the back of my head, and all he could see was the whites of my eyes, and I wasn't breathing anymore. Well, during this time, I was hypoglycemic. And so basically what happened, because I couldn't keep anything down, I dropped really low. And so, but it made me stop breathing. And so he pulled me out of the car thinking that maybe something was trapped and maybe that's why it wasn't breathing, trying the Heimlich, couldn't get anything out, ends up laying me on the ground. And now he's doing compressions and trying to get me to breathe. He said he was at it for about 5 minutes. He was getting exhausted. 5 minutes. And he finally got me to be able to breathe, but I wasn't conscious. At this time, another vehicle pulled over to the side of the road to see what was going on because he saw him doing compressions. And at the time, my husband was an EMT, and he's thinking, "Oh, how am I going to get her conscious?" He starts smacking me in the face, like the old movies showed to try to get somebody conscious. But as he's doing this, I'm basically limp, and the car that pulled over said, "Oh my gosh, he's killed her," and took off. And so at the time, finally I started coming to, and I thought I was talking when he was asking me questions. I just remember I was so cold. But what's more important than that is what happened when I wasn't breathing. So during those 5 minutes that I wasn't breathing, I literally found myself in a beautiful place. I really believe that when you go to help calm your spirit down to where you're being taken, a lot of people see different things. People see the ocean, some people see the desert, meadows. For me, it was the mountains. I was in the mountains. And it was beautiful. It was lush green. The colors were beautiful, more beautiful than I could ever even imagine, because they're not the colors that are here. They're not as vibrant here as they were there. Suddenly, as I found myself on the trail, I was barefoot. I was wearing like a white, I don't know, it was really a dress. It was like a long white shirt, kind of like a night shirt, and like some white pants underneath. I was barefoot, and I was walking. There was 2 paths on the ground, and as there were 2 paths on the ground, I was in one of the paths, and I was kind of felt awkward or off because the other path there was nobody on it. You know what I mean? And but I'm walking there, and as I'm seeing the green, there was no rocks. It was just very, very comfortable to walk barefoot, not worried about weeds or anything. I didn't even see any weeds on the ground. It was just beautiful. It was calm. I felt like I had woken up. I felt like when I thought about this life, this was just a dream. You know, I wasn't really thinking, oh, I need to get back to the husband or anything else. I saw a bright light at the end, and it was coming out between the trees as I'm walking, and the path was leading right there. And I just felt so comfortable and so loved. And it was like I was now awake. I was no longer asleep, because that's what it felt like. This being here felt like I was asleep. All of a sudden, now I'm awake, and I'm walking towards the light in the trees. And as I start walking towards it, all of a sudden I notice I had balls of light coming out of me. And each ball of light was everything good that I had done in this world since I was young and in childhood. Everything that was coming out, I was watching it. I remember feeling so much love and feeling so good about the things that I did. Now, the things that were coming out were not things that you do to get recognition. Hey, look at me, I did this. Hey, look at me, I did that. It was the stuff you do behind the scenes that nobody notices, but you're doing it because it's coming from your heart. You know, sorry, you had a bug or something on me. That was bothering me. Anyways, it's coming from your heart. And so, it was just the kindness that was there, just the love of everything. I could feel how they felt about what I was doing. It was amazing, you know. And as I'm walking towards the trees, that light is getting brighter and brighter, and now it's now connecting with me. And the only way I could describe it would be how people have described the love of Christ. But it was so strong that as I'm feeling this love, it's like pulling me in. It's so strong, you don't want to leave it. And as it's pulling me in, it's like I can't tell where the light starts and where I end. I'm literally starting to become one with it. And it's so strong, you don't want to leave it. It just feels so good. And the next thing I know, as I'm just about ready to go through the trees, I feel like in the other video that I showed you, is that cerebral cortex of somebody grabbing me and yanking me back into my body. And as I came back into my body, that's when I was breathing. I was not able to talk very well. I thought I was saying, full sentences, to find out that I was not giving full sentences. I was literally just mumbling, because what happened is I had such very low blood sugar that it was only going to that part of my brain that needed to control my heart and lungs. And so your speech was not really there. There was only one doctor in town at the time. Now there's a hospital in Green River. There's only one doctor at the time, and it was Sunday. And Sunday, to find out he was the bishop of the church that was there. So he should have been at church. We pulled up, and my husband comes in honking. At his house, the doctor's house was right next to the clinic. And so where he comes in honking, and the doctor comes out of the house to the clinic, and he says, what's going on? My husband explains, her blood sugar's dropped. I can't do anything. I'm trying to keep her going. Anyways, make a long story short, they go ahead and put me on the table. My veins had dropped because all the blood, my chest hurts so bad because there's so much blood flow going to it to keep it going. And they put me on the table. They couldn't get any blood or anything out of my veins. They literally had to go through my ankle to be able to feed the glucose into me to get me going again. To find out that this doctor, who was a bishop of a church, was supposed to be at church, that he said that morning he had left in his truck, and as he started pulling away, he realized that he had forgotten his scriptures at the house. So he pulls back to the house. So he's telling my husband, and he went back inside. He found his scriptures, but by the time he came back out, to the truck, he didn't have his keys. So now he's searching around with his keys, and it was just, he said, it was one thing after another to make it to where he wouldn't leave. He said he finally called in and said, there's got to be a reason why I need to stay here, because this doesn't normally happen to me. And I'm so thankful that this doctor actually was in tune enough to listen and stay, because he had told me I was so low in my blood sugar, if they would have literally had to call him out of church to come there, I probably would have already had my organs shutting down. So I'm very blessed to be here because I didn't listen. I didn't listen. So I'm just saying, a lot of times we don't know exactly why we're being told different things, but you really do need to listen. And since that time, I have made it my goal to not be stubborn anymore. And even if I don't understand why I'm supposed to be doing things or why I'm being directed to do things, I try really hard to just go ahead and do it anyway, because you don't know why. There's always a reason why, and sometimes you may never see the reason why. But it's those rare times like this time when I didn't listen and I ended up finding out the reason why the hard way, and it almost took my life. I wanted to share this with you also because when you go to the other side, and I was headed there was no fear, only love. And it felt like waking up. It feels like this is just a dream. It's like all of a sudden I was pulled out of a dream, and now I'm back to reality. And when I came back, I was very thankful for what the doctor did and how my husband helped save me. But at the same time, there's this feeling you get when you're brought back. It's almost like you feel upset of the fact that you were brought back, because of the fact of the things that the feeling that you had, and now you had to leave it. That love was so strong and so intense that you don't want to leave it. So I understand there's going to be some loneliness, and there's going to be sadness, and there's going to be grief. But know when they do cross over and they do go to the other side, there's nothing to fear there. And since I've had these experiences, I know that if it's my time, I'm going to go. That's just how it's going to work. As long as I'm not doing anything to create that time and make it happen faster, I'm not going to go until it's that time, because if not, they keep bringing me back. So I just try to live my life without that fear of it, and try to live the best life I can, enjoy what I've got, enjoy the time that I have with my loved ones, and my loved ones have with me, because all you take with you when you go is the memories of this place. So make your memories great. Enjoy your life. Don't have fear or worry about what's going to happen next, because that was things chosen, your chosen dates before you even came here. It's not like something you can choose. As long as you're trying to live your best life and enjoy yourself, that's all you can do. So make memories, have fun, enjoy yourself, love the ones that you're with. That's all you can do. When it's your time, it is your time. All right? I hope that helps some of you. As I said, please do like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.